You know, when this journey first began, I did not know where it was going to lead me. Another episode of A Dose of
Get a
Nicki.
dose of Nicki. Get a dose of Brown. Get a dose of Nicki. Get a dose of. Get a dose of Nicki. Don't get a dose of Nicki. Don't get a dose of Nicki. Don't get a dose of Nicki.
Have you ever felt that you were bothering someone? Welcome back to another episode of A Dose of Nicki. Beauties and buds, we are going to touch on what many of us have encountered but rarely discuss. The awkwardness of interactions and the feeling of being a bother. Have you ever greeted someone only to be met with grumbles? Or found yourself in a social setting where a casual touch resulted in an uncomfortable response? Let's explore these moments and what they reveal about our relationships and social dynamics. I have gone to the post office and greeted the clerk to a stone-faced response. I could not get a response with any greeting of my greeting, of hello, how are you doing today? When technically it should have been her greeting to me. I get it. The person could be stressed, fatigued, or in a mood. I get it. But sometimes I don't understand because we have choices. And I did not force you to take this job. However, this is when a reminder pops into my head from an old friend who once told me when they encounter a representative that seems bothered, she asks, am I bothering you? Because I can wait or be transferred to someone else. See, I love that. So I use it to preserve my peace. I'm going to give you a little example of this. I once called the utility company to get some clarification on my bill. And when the person answered the phone, I was thrown off by his demand to greet him by his last name. I had never experienced that before. But okay, Mr. Utility, that gave me the sense of his authority. Funny thing is he did not reciprocate greeting me by my last name. And during our conversation, I asked him some questions, and he began to get defensive and accusatory, starting his sentences with, well, you need to do this and that because you didn't do this and that. Whoa, who is the customer here? I was a long-standing customer who never had an issue and was not understanding why he was acting that way towards me. And even if I wasn't a long-standing customer, his attitude was uncalled for. So I stopped him and asked, am I bothering you? Because if I am, you can transfer me to another representative. When I asked him that question, he was shocked, taken aback. He didn't know how to respond. But guess what? His tone and attitude changed, and we were able to respectfully resolve the issue. Why? Because I took control of my feelings and asserted myself. This gave him the opportunity to realize his actions. Transfer me. If you can't deal with me at this time, I get it. But not on my watch and not on my time. No. But then we have those personal space boundaries, especially during social events where interactions can feel forced. I encountered a situation once where we were taking pictures. You know, when we take pictures with one another, it's a close space. You might touch each other's shoulders or back, arm, etc. Strike a pose, basically, right? And there was this one person who told the other person not to touch them. How would you take that? That's a direct indication of a comfort zone difference. The comfort zone can be with the person who they told not to touch them. It can be personal. I don't want you touching me. I don't mind anybody else touching me, but I don't want you touching me. Or it could be the person's boundary with anyone. If a person expresses discomfort, how should we handle it? Shouldn't we all be capable of engaging in social settings without feeling like a bother? I'm going to let you ponder on that. And then, what about in your everyday small interactions with someone you live with? Your spouse, your parent, your sibling, your roommate. Something simple like a greeting can lead to misunderstandings. A good morning can be met with a grumble or no response. We talked about that. And then you're left wondering what the issue is, if you are bothering them. Here you are, seeing this morning as a blessing, a gift, especially when we wake up to see our loved ones. So it's a great morning, actually. However, that feeling can be perceived differently in a relationship, especially if there's underlying tension or stress. But the key is to communicate openly about our feelings. You might be the person on the giving off bothersome vibes. It's important to express yourself in a constructive way rather than shutting down the interactions. See, everyone is entitled to their feelings of having their off days. And it's okay not to be in the mood either. I get it. It's how we communicate that matters. We all need to be in a positive space, which some people cannot deal with. There's people who do not like when people are always positive. They have a problem with that. But on this platform, we are tasked to reflect on the significance of greetings and positive interactions in our daily lives. That's what we do here. Expressing kindness and appreciation is vital to a healthy lifestyle, especially in a world that can often feel overwhelming. Let's practice empathy when faced with someone who seems bothered. Remember, it's their issue, not yours. So continue being you by living and acting in the positive space. A greeting is a small gesture that can have a big impact. And it's okay to navigate these interactions with care. I'd love to hear your experiences and thoughts on this topic with me. I thank you for tuning in to A Dose of Nicki. If you enjoyed this episode, join us next week for another insightful conversation. And remember, if you have gained value from this podcast, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when a new episode drops on YouTube. Until then, my beauties and buds, remember, a little kindness goes a long way. And never hesitate to share a good morning. And be well. Be well.